called that still our marriage anniversary date because we couldn't get married at that time.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't legal.
Were both your parents against it, or did they understand?
I think my parents, I'm not sure to what extent they understood.
My dad, though, was not going to be very accepting of it. And then when I kind of came out in a way that probably wasn't very nice to him.
You see yourself?
Yes.
You look good? Okay.
Huh. No.
Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to today's video. For today's video, I have some very, very special guests with me. So, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yes, I'm Frank. I'm you're my little cousin.
They're basically my gay uncles. So, okay.
Hi, Daniel, and I'm Frank's partner.
Yeah, so they're married or civil, or what were we saying the other day? We were like,
Civil partnership.
Civil partnership,
Yeah,
okay.
yes.
Which pretty much means marriage, right? Like, in a
Yes.
way. Today, guys, I have a fun video planned for you guys. So, a lot of you guys have been asking me to do more Q&As about LGBTQ and about being gay and how to come out. So I thought, why not today put a fun twist on it and bring in two gays that grew up in why not bring two gays and that grew up in different generations than we did, and see their thoughts on some questions that you guys might have for me, and just see how they have dealt with being gay in their generation and how it's so different from mine. Without further ado, let's just get on with your questions from Instagram. I have them all saved up on my phone right here, and we're just gonna start answering them. Let's just start with the obvious first question. So, how long have they been together? So, how long have you guys been married?
Let's see if we have the same answer.
Oh,
Right, well we met in October 2000.
okay. So,
So that would be 19 years, almost 20.
So when you guys met, I was a fetus.
Yeah.
In gay world, it's actually 50 years.
Okay, so in gay years, it's 50. Okay. Who was the first person you guys came out to? P.S. I love you so much. I love you too. So I'm gonna answer first. So the first people I came out to were actually a group of my very close friends. So I have these friends that I've been friends with for, oh my god, since daycare. So I decided to come out to them first just because I wanted to get their opinion on it, and I just felt comfortable telling them because I knew they'd be okay with it. And then it was the next step of my parents, and they helped me come out to my parents actually. I came out to my close friends first. So what about you guys? Who did you guys come out to first?
So probably friends, close friends. I came out a little bit later probably in life. I came out after university, so it's probably about 2021, and I came out to friends, and then my mother, and then many years later my father.
How long was that gap then between your friends and your father?
Probably about 10 years.
10 years,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. I think my gap from when I told my friends to my parents, I told both of my parents at the same time, so I think that was like a month or two. It is really harder sometimes to tell your parents than it is to tell your friends. So what about you?
So I came out to my cousins first.
Your cousins,
I was
okay.
Probably in my mid-late 20s, and then I came out to my parents
Okay.
later, probably in my mid
When you met me.
30s when I met them.
Wow, mid-30s. Okay.
Early mid-30s. I was probably around 34.
Is it because you were maybe scared of what your parents would say, so that's why you told your cousins first?
Yeah, definitely felt more comfortable telling my cousins. I think my cousins
Okay.
kind of had a better understanding, awareness of that. I think my parents came from a completely different generation.
Yeah, right.
So things like, you know, at Christmas and Easter when we have the families, and my sister has her husband, my brother has his wife, and Dan came and wanted everybody to be treated the same, so that's why I told my parents.
Wow,
And they were really
okay.
good about it.
They were
actually.
good about
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay, good. I think that's one of our questions on later, but we'll go more into that. Ooh, okay, so have you ever faked you were in love with a girl?
Well,
that's a good question.
It's a tough question though, because it insinuates that you knew that you were gay at the time you were with the
Yeah.
girls. I guess I wouldn't call it fake, but yes, I had relationships with women. I cared about those women before I came out as a gay man. Did I love them like I love Frank? No, but I cared about them.
And were you attracted to them at all, or no?
I think there were two things. I think I was attracted to them, and I think it was a real relationship, but I always knew in the back of my mind that I was more attracted to men.
Okay.
I just hadn't acted on that yet, and so it took me a while to kind of accept that that was where I wanted to be in a relationship. Once I did have a relationship with a man, I no longer wanted a relationship with a woman.
Okay, what about you? Did you ever have a relationship with a girl or?
So for the record, I'm 100% grade A Canadian queer.
Oh, me too.
So no, never had a girlfriend. I had lots of girlfriends that I hung out with, but I never dated.
Same for me. I've never been in a relationship with a girl. In high school, girls would flirt with me and then I would kind of flirt back. But I kind of think everyone knew I was gay because I would act quite gay, I think, in high school. So very similar to Frank. I had a lot of friends that were girls, but I've never dated a girl now. How old were you when you found out or realized you were gay? So when did you deep down tell yourself like, okay, I'm gay?
For me, it was probably grade school. I knew there was something different about me than a lot of the other people. At the time, I thought it was just me and that I was different than everybody else, rather than knowing there were probably other people that had the same feelings. Yeah, I'd say from a very young age. I remember feeling different than other boys in my class at the age of 10 even.
10, wow. Yeah, I feel like, well, I'll let you answer first actually. So when do you think you told yourself, okay, I'm different, I'm gay?
I was quite young, yeah. I knew at a very early age that I was attracted to men. So look, beginning in high school when you start being attracted to probably around that time. So I knew very early on.
Yeah, I think very similar to me. Even though I grew up in a newer generation, I think even as a kid in elementary school, first 6 years, I knew deep down that I found men attractive, but I didn't even know what gay was. I didn't even think it was a thing, So I think I started telling myself, okay, I think I'm gay in high school when I actually knew what it was and met people that were gay, and also just watching other YouTubers come out as gay on YouTube. After watching a lot of their videos, I would be like, oh my gosh, like I feel this exact same way, like maybe I am gay, maybe it's just not confusion, So I would say same as Frank, early high school, so my first 2 years, I think.
We had no role models, we had nobody on TV, we had nobody coming out, so when you felt different, you had like no description of what it is that you could be. I think that's a great thing that you guys have at your generation, is you have the access to people that are telling their stories.
But this isn't a question from my Q&A, but since you brought it up, is there anyone growing up that was maybe gay or lesbian that you could look up to?
I think when I was growing up, the only gay characters that were really in the media were oftentimes done in comedy. Yeah, and so there wasn't really anybody to look up to at all. And at that time, there was kind of a focus on stereotypes of gays all the time. And if you didn't fit into one of those stereotypes, you wondered if you really were a gay person. What you come to realize over time is, being gay is about a feeling that you have towards other people. It's not about the way you act in the world.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Now, especially these days, you'll just find every type of gay, you know what I mean? Like, what about you? Is there anyone that you might have looked up to just growing up?
Yeah, I think similar to Dan, there wasn't really any role models per se, so I think back in our days, I think that, people really didn't talk about that, to be honest. So.
That's what I was gonna say.
Sound really old.
I know.
We're not that
They're
old.
not that old. They're actually not. No, but that's true that now we're still lucky because we have YouTube and there's so many gays on YouTube. Like, YouTube is just gays, pretty much. I think growing up, I don't know if you guys know him, but like Shane Dawson is a big YouTuber and he came out as gay, and everything he said and is coming out, I was just related to. I was like, yes, that's me. So now, since we know, I'm guessing we all just kind of know different gay actors, singers. Who would you say right now is your favorite like gay icon?
You and Frank. You asked when Frank and I got met each other. It was in the year 2000, and we called that still our marriage anniversary date because we couldn't get married at that time. It wasn't legal. And then when it became legal, we applied and we got our civil partnership. So now we've got 2 anniversary dates. But we lived through that period of having to call our relationship something else. And I think you guys have taken, this to the next generation by being so open about your story on media. It's fantastic. Don't stop the ball from rolling. Keep pushing forward and giving us, the same status in society as everybody else.
When he was telling me his story of how he couldn't get married because it wasn't legal yet, and I thought that was super interesting because now we're just in a society where we're just, if you're gay, well, yeah, I'll get married. Like, it's not like a question that you have, or it's not like a concern that you have to worry about. As for you guys had to actually be like, okay, well, it's not even legal. Like, we can't even do this legally, Even though Frank's Canadian and I'm US, Frank also has an Italian passport. So as an EU citizen, he was able to bring me as his partner over here to the UK on a visa. And then we had to demonstrate for the visa, actually, that we were a couple. And so we had to build a book
and we had to put pictures of ourselves and our family members together, and we had to share kind of embarrassing moments like poems we had written each other.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy when you were telling me that. Just so they had to literally build almost like a whole memory book just to prove that they were gay. Like, I think that's insane.
Because you had to with the immigration, you have to prove that you are a couple. As you show pictures, it's essentially a storybook of your last 4 or 5 years.
But if you're straight at that time, all you had to do was get married, and then you had the same.
And then that was it. And do you guys still have that book of?
We do, actually.
You do?
I might share it with you. I might show you something.
Oh, there's embarrassing stuff too. We can't show it on YouTube. Were both your parents against it, or did they understand?
I think my parents, I'm not sure to what extent they understood, because they're one, you know, they're from Italy and two completely different generations. But they were not upset. They were not mad. They loved Dan a lot. So it's kind of easy, to be honest. And then I told my mother and my father. And then at the end, my mother said, you know, you are our son, we love you, we love Dan, and that's okay. They were very happy because I was happy with Dan.
So my parents are quite a bit younger than Frank, so they were children of they were young adults of the 70s. So my mom was quite liberal. I knew it was going to be okay when I told her. It was still hard to tell her. It was really hard to tell her.
Yeah.
But I knew she'd support me, I knew she'd love me, and I knew it was going to be okay. And when I did tell her, she said, well, I kind of always knew, I was just waiting for you to tell me.
Yeah.
Right? My dad, though, I thought was not going to be very accepting of it, and so I just didn't tell him. Was part of the reason probably that we didn't talk for many years. And then when I kind of came out in a way that probably wasn't very nice to him, in that I just brought my boyfriend at the time home and I said, here's my boyfriend.
I mean,
and that's how I came out. And I thought, you know, I could have probably taken him aside and had the conversation, which would probably have been better for him and me. To my surprise, he was actually completely open and accepting and fantastic about it.
I think I've said my story a bunch of times on YouTube, so you guys probably already know. But so the camera battery died, of course. On a scale from 1 to 10, how gay are you?
11.
11.
11, 12,
11,
13.
12.
And gay every day.
And I can show you, can I accessorize myself on your video?
please do. Oh my god, we love that hat. I love that hat moment.
Thank you.
Oh my god. Well, I was gonna say -1 for me, but...
Right. Is that the number?
Do you guys not agree? What advice would you tell your past self about being gay?
Well, that's a good question. I think if I were to change something, I probably would have come out much earlier.
Much earlier? Okay.
I think, you know, mid-20s to my cousins and then mid-30s to my family. I think in hindsight, it would have been good for me to come out, you know, when I was 15, 16, very early on. I think it would have been easier, especially when you have those more difficult times in your life and nobody knows, you're kind of alone.
Yes,
so I think if there's one thing I would have done differently is that.
What about you?
Well, I think, I like that answer. I definitely would tell my younger self to come out earlier, but I think I'd also, if I were to be able to go back in time, I think I would tell myself at a very young age, actually, that everything that I'm going through and feeling is normal. Right?
Oh,
it's not abnormal. You're not unusual in the world. There are other feelings that, you know, other people have feelings like that as well, and everybody has insecurities and everybody has desires and everybody's different, and I would like to tell my younger self that.
I think very similar to both of you. I think I would just have told myself to not worry about what maybe people would think, because at the end of the day, even though someone might, you know, make fun of you or whatever, a lot of people will support it and won't care that you're gay. For one, I would have came out earlier as well, and then for two, I would have just told myself, like, yeah, no one cares. Like, actually, especially these days, like, no one cares, so just come out. Because I think almost waiting, like that wait to tell your parents is sometimes even more stressful than once you tell them and it's just over with and it's done with. If you guys have advice for young kids out there that are scared to come out to their parents for whatever reason, what is your advice?
Gosh, that's a good one. I mean, there's a lot of things. Yeah, I think the thing to remember is that you're never alone. So you need to reach out to friends, to people that you know that you can get advice from. Communities are aware of that. There's the LBGT. There's a lot of help that you can get.
What about if you had to?
Well, I would just probably add to what Frank said, and that's you know, stand tall and be proud. You know, you have nothing to be ashamed of. Coming out is just a sharing of who you are. When you do come out, it's liberating
It is. It's so liberating.
It is very liberating, and to not have to hold that secret anymore. Like,
yeah.
You know,
Alright, so we're gonna end the video again because the camera's about to die. But thank you guys so much for coming on my video today. I really hope you guys had fun. And
yeah, thanks for inviting us. It's been really, really lovely.
Again, if y'all want to follow from me in this video, all you have to do is hit the bell, subscribe, and comment down below. Notification squad shout out. I'm gonna go in the comments down below this video and follow you guys. If y'all want to follow, just do that. If y'all want some more videos actually with Dan and Frank, give us ideas of what videos we should do next. Tell us down below. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna see you guys after tomorrow with a new video. Alright, bye.
Bye.
Okay, good.
That's really cool.
That was good. That was really good.